Hello, campers. Here we are for Ad Copy for Authors Part 2. And I've brought my new favorite song about mullets. Oops, I accidentally restarted it. Oh, this song has been cracking me up for the last couple days. I've made my family listen to it. I've told everyone about it. I'm not so sure it's helping me make friends, though. But anything to keep us pumped as we learn about some stuff that can be kind of dry. I liked this meme. A limo is kind of like a mullet. Business in the front, party in the back. I mean, it's true, right? So that made me laugh. So we are here to talk about our superstar ad copy techniques. These are your headliners. These are your $20 million fee actors. These are techniques that are so powerful when done well that they can move products, i.e. books, on their own, and they can often be stacked together and create a supernova that no reader can resist. So let's dive in, shall we? You got your pen and paper? You got something to take notes with? Here we go. Emotion. Emotions build connection. It pairs well with experience, which we'll talk about next. Anytime you evoke emotion, you build a connection with a reader to your book, and people will buy. It is the most important ad copy persuasion point. Now, the way you want to approach it is you want to think about why your readers read your genre, what signals are iconic for your genre, and then where your book aligns and how you can marry all of that information into a pitch for your book. So, for romance, just in general, when we're talking about words, word choice, you're going to want the moments of heavy attraction, the moment leading up to the big kiss, the moment where he tells her he's her rock and her protector. You want to feature content that hits the sweet spot of your genre. Experience. This is the big buzzword in marketing. Everyone is trying to create a customer experience because the idea is the experience bonds people to your brand. It connects with people and they'll kind of keep going with you, which means they'll buy from you. And so that's why it's such a huge buzzword, because really at this point, marketing is a democracy. Anyone can run a Facebook ad. Anyone can run Google ads. We have access to advertising methods and strategies on a large scale that didn't really exist in history before. So one of the ways you distinguish yourself in a very crowded market with a lot of noise is by offering a superior experience, or at least hooking people into your experience so that they're more likely to buy from you. So of course, when you're selling a book, what is the experience? It's your story. So you showcase the story, you immerse the reader. This is why we spent so much time on the hooks facet of our diamond, because you're going to need it to get readers immersed in your world. So you use your hooks to provide experience of your story. You're making your story experiential. A more oblique way to handle experience, if you're trying to warm up your audience, if you have a new release and you haven't really said much about it to readers yet, you can post like real world news stories or pop culture stuff that somehow relates to your book. So, real crude example, like if you have something set in Hawaii, you can talk about Hawaii, ask who would want to move to Hawaii, and you're starting to get people in that headspace of, oh, Hawaii. And so when you come out with your hula shifters in Hawaii book, which is probably the one I would write, to be honest, people are sort of primed psychologically, and they're already receptive to your message. I think between experience and emotion, like one of the really important things is readers have their own inner landscape around story and around genre. So that's why you want to just have the signals they've responded to in the past, or as close as you can get without violating other people's trademarks and copyrights. They create their own experience. Like if you've ever been in a conversation where someone accused you of saying something and you're like, I didn't say that. Well, that's a great example of what happens when we're marketing and what happens when people read our books. Our marketing and our stories kind of get inserted into people's own ideas of what the genre is and what the world is. And so it's really about just connecting with their inner landscape enough that they take over and they fill in the blanks, and then they go, oh my God, this is exactly what I want. So it's really kind of subtle. It's not something a lot of people think about, but it's really obvious when you work with readers long enough. It's just really obvious that everything goes through their filter. So all I have to do is tell them, for example, this is a big, strong man who turns into a werewolf and he's crazy hot in bed. They fill in the rest. It doesn't have to be, I just have to give them the right prompts and they just take it and run. So a lot of marketing is about giving consumers the right prompts so they can fill it in with their needs, wants, desires, and they can take it and run. With experience, we want to take them out of, here's my book. My book's for sale. I have a lot of reviews. You want to instead get them thinking about your world, and you want them to mentally kind of insert themselves into it because that's when they buy. Sex sells. I mean, obvi. Did anybody not know this? Was this a shocker for anybody? But the tricky part is you have to use coded language. You can't just throw up explicit content. Your ad will get flagged, it will get removed, it will get blocked, you will have account problems. You have to be a little smart, a little sly, a little clever to sell with sex. I have some examples. Here's an excerpt I used in my ad. I don't know why people call me right when I'm recording these videos, by the way. That was my phone. It's so annoying. I'm working. I tell people I'm recording. No one ever calls me. Ever. But whenever I do these videos, someone calls me. It's really annoying. Anyways. So here's an excerpt I used in the ad years ago. It's an example of sex that a bot wouldn't necessarily pick up on. You really have to be human to understand the subtext and the sexual connotation. You can pause the video. I recommend that you do that and read through it so you can see how I handled it. I literally have nothing in here that signals sex. They'd have to program the bots with every single Harlequin romance in the world to give the bots enough context to flag this, in my opinion. And someday that may happen. We may find someday in the future that we have to be so euphemistic that we're just showing people pictures of bubblegum to signal shifter, sexy shifter romance or something. It might get that coded in the future. But right now, this seems to be okay. And it's effective with readers as well. So this is how you straddle it when you're trying to avoid problems. And this is also a great example of how you do the lead up to the explicit part and you just stop before things get exciting. And notice how I end on a really strong line that's evocative, like it makes you wonder what's going on. And really if we go back to what I've been talking about, I don't think I've done it yet, but later on in the video, we talk about belonging. And so, there's a lot of wish fulfillment in fiction, particularly in romance. So they all want to be whatever the thing is in your subgenre. So if it's a billionaire, they all want to be the girlfriend of the billionaire who's going to come and take care of them. If it's shifter, they want the alpha, but also be kind of cool to be a shifter too. So you got to look at the wish fulfillment angle of fiction as well. I know that if you read writing advice long enough, you'll run across the Mary Sue stuff, and they'll say, don't be a Mary Sue. But actually, I think in romance, it's all about Mary Sue. It's all about creating heroines that the reader can kind of insert themselves right into the story and feel like they are the heroine. So I actually think that Mary Sue works in romance in a way that it might not in other genres. More sex. So this was the same book, and these were one-line hooks that I came up with. I mean, you instantly know what the book is about. You instantly know that it's steamy romance. You know the genre, right? And the bots are not going to have a clue. These are old. I did these years ago. Maybe Beast in the Sheets might get flagged. I don't know, because they are adding more and more words to their no-no list. So who knows? But in general, this is what you're going for when you want to signal steam to the market. And also make sure that the subtext of your words is aligned with genre and evokes emotion. This is a great example, Beast in the Sheets. He'll make you howl. I love he'll make you howl because it's alpha language. He'll make you. It goes right into forcing the heroine, to pleasure against her will, which is a big fantasy for a lot of women. So you want to make sure your subtext signals all of that. Now, this was a breakout book. It was the first time I tried this kind of marketing in 2013. And believe it or not, I didn't run ads. I didn't run any ads. I should do it now. Maybe that's what I'll do. When we make our test ads, maybe I'll do this one. I was just doing it to try and hook my readers more because, back in 2013, you didn't necessarily need to run ads. And this was super effective. My approach to marketing was super duper duper effective. This book almost hit the USA Today bestseller list. I mean, it missed it by like 100 sales. So this was when I started to understand that things like this were very, very effective. Also, if you've done any of Margie Lawson's stuff, and no, I will not shut up about her. Nope. I wrote all of this before I worked with Margie, but now that I've worked with her, I can see why they work. And they work on a subliminal, subconscious level. They work linguistically. They work sexually. This is the value I'm talking about of knowing how and why things work, because then you can reproduce, replicate, innovate, and improve your ROI. Are you with me? Please tell me you're with me. I hope that people are actually getting something out of these videos. High concept, instantly recognizable. That's why it's so powerful. My best personal example is blood cortisons. In 2 words, 2, you know exactly what's in the book. Exactly. And you pretty much know genre, right? It has inherent tension. It promises sex. It signals genre. So it brings in number 5 with the sex. So I'm layering techniques in 2 words. So if your series names are not high concept, try to rename them if you can. I've been sort of doing that a little bit here and there myself. Give readers what they want. What are readers looking for from your genre? It's not about, nobody wants to read about the vampire on a diet or the vampire who's running a marathon to save, starving children somewhere. That's not what they're looking for, guys. Maybe in some literary markets for short fiction, maybe they can get away with that. But no, in our industry, we've got to provide what readers want. So it's an ad copy. It's the idea of you don't try to sell people hammers when what they need is a nail. So for us, we want to make sure that we've got the right signals going on. So, and also it's not about writing to market. Okay. I know that's like a big concept. It's not about writing to market. We're talking about here marketing to market. Just stop for a second. Think about it. Marketing to market. It's about packaging. So it's being able to come in and go, I have a pirate. Pirates of the Caribbean is a famous pirate movie. I can probably advertise my pirate movie to those fans and get a decent number of them to come and watch my movie. That kind of thing. My pirate movie is not fantasy. There's no fantasy elements. There's no magic. but it's a good time, it's a good caper. So that's how I'm aligned.